Papa Smithy. Keep it to yourself. Let's hear from the fans. Whoa, the Gen.G explosion as they are staring down the barrel of a 0-2 against SANDBOX here, as we had another pigeon opportunity but didn't have it work out.
The bird is the word, though, is what I saw from that opening graphic. Azir every game, kind of been the LCK way recently. Was on the winning side. Game number 1, SANDBOX on red side. So red side Azir first round, more and more common.
I am liking this Gen.G composition, though. It's looking very, very much like a 1-1 out of the gate when it comes to the draft, in my personal opinion. I'm just looking down the line and feeling like they do have a lot of what they would have wanted. However, I'm glad that you brought up the peanut problem, because the Lee Sin has certainly been a pick that he hasn't been able to make as many inroads on as he used to in the past.
I mean, if you remember back, he had pretty legendary games on the Lee Sin, none more so than when I was over in Brazil. If you remember, he was legendary at like 9 minutes in that matchup. Has definitely had pop-off performances on Lee Sin, and was just, I believe, undefeated in 2016. I believe he was undefeated on the Rocks Tigers on the Lee Sin. And then Italy, I think, that year. Regardless, big win rates on both. Always been a reliable one for him since that phase onwards, but more recently, been struggling a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of a bygone era. It's depressing to talk about, as Ghost and Joker just trying to juke it out here with Ruler in life. Counting some minions, as it looks like the SANDBOX bottom lane do have priority at the moment.
Gotta say, a lot of our legends definitely having a bit of a mare of a time this season so far.
Yeah.
SKT KT has some of the most significant Korean pro gamers in League of Legends history, but right now that's a bottom of the table clash. We'll have that tomorrow.
It's almost like Expendables versus Expendables 2, Papa Smithy. It's a very strange one.
But always hoping for brighter times for some of our veterans. Zooming into this game, though, Gen.G really confident on their scaling. Sivir, Azir, Gangplank, all of them spike as the game goes on, although Azir kind of cheats and has a really strong one-item spike, regardless of whether it goes Nash or into more of a burst build, like we've seen a little bit more recently. And while Corki gets into a good spot against Azir, and Aatrox can do some things against GP, the actual natural laning phases much earlier aren't as comfortable for the Azir and GP. So there definitely will be a point where LoL 3 losing lanes, but right now, it's actually pretty comfortable outside of bot lane, being pretty Varus Tahm Kench favorite.
Yeah. I do want to talk about this top lane, though, because I think it is going to be pretty important to look at those nameplates like you do like to indicate, Papa, because the Aatrox is a different beast when it's piloted by Summit. He's probably one of our best Aatrox players in the entire league, and has been for a very long time, as Ruler with a nice spell shield bottom side of the map denies any aggression, as junglers are going to face. Looking for this Q onto OnFleek, and will land it. Decent shield does come down, as it's OnFleek that gets the Rift Scuttler. There's the safeguard just to stay in range, and Joker is going to come on over.
He's trying to play on his weak side. No way for Ruler in life to impact the lane control. The reason why Lux is preferred with Sivir is that she can poke as a range champion, but also can help shove a lot more than a Braum. So you don't actually get to have a lot of say about where the laning phase is. So you can push up and go and help the Scuttle more reliably. You can control for the early game. But late game, tank supports have a very important role to play. So they have sacked a bit of lane control. That's why Lee Sin was being a bit cheeky, given that it was a weaker side when it comes to the 2v2 that he was jungling around. No steal available.
Well, Summit's got a lot of minions available, as you can see. Back's going to come in from CuVee just to get himself some more items to try and deal with this lane as best he can, but only has access to a Sapphire Crystal and a recharge on his Corrupting Potion.
Lee Sin last seen bot side. SANDBOX showing a lot of respect in this area now that Jarvan's going for top Scuttle, so smart of them to not be trying to impact the minion wave. Does allow Ruler to catch up. He's about 3 CS behind. After this wave, it's all cleaned up. Summit gets down some deep wards. While GP can just kind of poke and be okay against Aatrox, Aatrox can also, with Jarvan, be a pretty formidable turret dive duo. So we'll see if that's on the recipe in the foreseeable future.
Well, at the moment, OnFleek is on the top side of the map. But right now, there's wolves to be killed of a smithy.
I like that you could also just talk about weather in the kind of like tone of phrase you were doing, and it would have fit one to one. There's a southerly breeze, or I guess a northerly breeze going on.
I'm thinking that can be my retirement option.
Really? You're thinking
Yeah.
weather?
Yeah, going potential weather.
I thought we had the cricket commentary thing in the bag.
Oh, that's retirement after all commentary.
Oh.
So it's a multi-step process.
Okay.
As I
You're really weaning yourself off of your vocation, aren't you?
Yeah. And maybe I'll just die before that, you know. Maybe I'll be one of those people that just never retires.
Well, I don't pray for your death, but I do pray for more death in this particular series.
Yep. Well, CuVee getting close to it. Gets full combos.
Imminent
OnFleek.
death.
Yeah, he's looking to come down here. That's a decent knock-up. Good flash there from Ruler, though, and did use the spell shield very nicely, but that's successful gank. Coming in from SANDBOX, starting off the aggression early.
Exactly. Like, love to see it. There was just so high value EQ that something had to give. 2 summoners blown from that roam. Nicely done. And the first real proactive gank we've had all series, so appreciate it.
I like that Life didn't use his flash to get out of the way as well and just used the stand beside me after Ruler had flashed out. However, still, getting that flash out of the Sivir means that Gen.G won't have the kind of control that they may have been looking for. Wave going to equalize, back's going to come in, teleport there for Ruler, but Ghost also has his. As Bilgewater Cutlass is what he's decided to go for. Ghost starting with a shield instead of the Doran's Blade. Ruler's side, pickaxe and a longsword were collected. Double control word as well for the Sivir.
What sport do you think has the greatest degree of difficulty to commentate? Because I think there's 2 schools of thought. There's kind of simple mechanical sports where how do you like get more out of it? Like maybe you have to be super intrinsically linked to it to actually add value to what's happening. Like boxing, for example.
Yeah.
Like 2 people are punching each other. Everyone can see that. How do you make it captivating? Or there's, you know, League of Legends and other sports where a lot of things are always happening, where the camera can never catch everything. And how do you actually make that personal? Kind of an interesting question to wrestle with.
Yeah, and then there's also like incredibly difficult things that are hard to comprehend, the right maneuvers as well, things like that.
Can we comprehend this Infernal Drake fight?
We'll have to find out. Teleport coming in, Life having to flash very early, and now Ruler is in trouble. That knock-up was stunning from Summit, who will just dive on top, calculates the timing of that spell shield very, very nicely, and we'll get that last hit of the queue. Does use all of his summoners, but that's going to mean another Infernal Drake, the 4th of the series here for SANDBOX, if you're counting. Great start to this game.
Exactly. Pre-10-minute kill, pre-10-minute Infernal. SANDBOX Gaming feeling great about this pickup. And I watched the replay on how I saw now Gen.G tried to take advantage of back-timers, but TP back in from Ghost meant that he was in position for this. Kuzan not able to catch the Corki. Ruler thinks he's out, but the range there, just bigger than I could have comprehended on the Q. He just about clipped him. And remember, that's one of them sweet spots.
Yeah, that was a real sweet spot from Summit. Amazing accuracy. Gen.G are going to tidy things up, though. Collecting this minion wave underneath the turret. If we have a look at turret plates, none of them have gone down so far. 8 minutes into this game. The items are going to get better and better here for SANDBOX as they have won that first fight. The gold is approaching that 1,000 gold mark, and with an Infernal in their back pocket, this could be a SANDBOX that can accelerate. I mean, you're looking at probably 2 of the best users of Infernal Drake as well in Varus and the Corki. Both of them double scaling.
Summit is on Epic what they know that Peanut was on this camp.
Yeah, looking for it. Didn't have Flash, remember, on the side of the Aatrox, but Safeguard is going to get Peanut out of there, and I believe he managed to take down his whole camp as well.
Damn, that was a Jaws moment, though. Love the competing death that was coming there, but nothing to be found. We'll be able to escape away. Peanut just trying to farm up, and sadly, this is kind of the Peanut Lee Sin game we were kind of anticipating. It almost got to the point coming into MSI, and I guess I've said this on cast before, where it really felt like Lee Sin was watching LCK only, a level 6 jungler. Like, couldn't do anything pre-6, and then we saw Ning smiting ranged minions to hit Qs on Synders and turret diving, and you're reminded that the champion can be so much more, but when your fallback is always to farm rather than to fight, it does feel like a trap champion for Gen.G.
Well, CuVee going to try and get back into a winning scenario here on the top side. OnFleek sneaking his way in to try and deny the GP.
If you're wondering why other level 6 junglers actually fit GenG better. They can initiate more reliably than at least in Sejuani, these other champions. They can press R and things start happening. And I was trying to find trends in GenG's wins, and it was high crowd control and agency champions. The moment they get a bit more like this, games get a bit harder, it can get tricky.
Wow, OnFleek going to stop that back. As you can see, Summit still looking for more. The Darkened Blade actually getting a lot of work done here. On to CuVee. CuVee just looking tanky. There's going to be the knock-up, though, and there's the dive-in from Summit. All too easy with the passive proc. And CuVee dies with flash-up.
I mean, to be fair, OnFleek, at the perfect time where Summit gave no indications junglers. He was literally leaving lane to put down a ward.
Yeah.
And Summit, Cinderhawk Jarvan knows his damage output, picks up the kill. They sucked in CuVee, but they did it really impressively.
And the range calculation from Summit as well in the turn back for Umbral Dash Q perfect sweet spot knockup. Like, that was some amazing stuff there from the jungler and top laner from SANDBOX.
I mean, we've said sweet spot a lot this broadcast, but it feels oh so good to say.
I mean, Aatrox has got 3 of them on one
Summit
ability.
is giving literally no indication that his jungler is top. I'm always very impressed by it because that's the intangible where you're just a smarter player, not better at pressing your buttons.
Yeah, that's the big brain rather than the fast fingers. Joker and Dove hanging out. As Joker's going to leave Varus to his own devices. You can see bottom side of the map is not where they really want to be, as they're looking to make a play onto Shelly. 11 minutes in would make sense.
They already got CuVee killed. Now he's back with everything, so at least he doesn't have summoners down. You can definitely understand they have first rotation from bot lane. They're able to get the Herald first, and thus they do have wide control of the objective. Do remember the Tahm Kench ult nerf at level 1 means that you have to be pretty close to be able to Abyssal Voyage in. So for now, they are out of position for that objective. Yep. But will it just be GenG seeding objectives? Seems very likely, but Peanut for now is going to consider his options.
He's going to come on over, but you can see the Azir on the wrong side of the lane, and CuVee is going to be heading back.
It seems
Shelly's going to releash.
It seems like SANDBOX noted the Mountain Drake spawning in less than a minute and said, oh, well, we could get that, definitely. Or we could invest everyone to get the Rip Herald, probably. And it seems like they're just going to fall back for the fallback Mountain Drake, given that's pretty high value in how they want to play this game. At some point, they got 280 carries and a tank Jarvan, so Baron threat pretty immense with a Mountain Drake.
Yes. Very true. Split push style as well with Summit in side lane could theoretically be an option also. Black Cleaver almost done here for Summit. Just wants to get towards his next CDR item after that, and that first item spike is going to be there for the Aatrox. He's already taken a couple of turret plates, and we'll just make that one. Sorry, that is his second. Just goes down. Told a lie.
You know what one of Riot's best things they do in League that people never talk about?
What's that?
Some of the sound effects are just
the
so on
satisfying
point. The most
sounds?
famous one for the first 5 years of the game was the Jax thwomp, right, of his third hit. Like, that's always like, oh, music to your ears.
No, do you know what the best one was?
The turret plate one is up.
Yeah, it does feel very, very nice to hit that turret. Almost feels as good as TPA Mundo landing his trophies.
Oh, yes, okay.
That is the best sound in any video game, in my opinion.
The thwomp still wins in my book. I think Jax is the winner, but
the
damn, the turret plate one. Oh.
You're a thwomp, I'm the gong.
You know what's the other new one that's Pog?
Oh, yeah?
The Aurelia getting all the last hits.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
It's just beautiful.
There's a lot of satisfaction when it comes to the sounds. I think that was actually one of the first things that people liked about Teamfight Tactics as well, is that a lot of that sound
TP's coming in deep here. They're actually trying to catch Joker and Ghost.
Yep, On the Hunt does come down. This is the gank potential that they have available to them. The bounce house is in, all too easy from Gen.G. They were capable of this in game number 1 and never did it. But this time around, they're able to land it. CuVee doesn't have his ult now, top side of the map, but who cares? He's got 2 assists.
That was some beautiful sweeping from Kuzan. He makes the play just like he was trying to on the LeBlanc in game number 1 and takes out the trash, it felt like, with that sweep. Sweeps him straight into the turret, and the gleeful hands of Ruler. Really nicely done, and it punishes the Varus Tahm Kench push potential and the safety implied by the Tahm Kench.
Yep, no flash option there either.
The sweep here. Oh, just taking out the trash. Beautiful stuff from Kuzan.
And Joker just had no time to effectively devour, because what, he devours and then the Varus just comes with him? It's just, it's not exactly what you want to be seeing here, but SANDBOX with that play on the bottom side of the map now used for Gen.G, they will be able to take down Shelly.
You show a replay of that to your mom and she says, that's a chore well done.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're going to do it right, says Gen.G. And to be fair, they don't do that much, so.
Yeah, that is certainly a Sunday where you're making your mum proud. CuVee's got himself some barrels set up here on the top side, and there are no more turret plates, so at least he's denied Summit from smacking down his turrets too much, as you saw. Not exactly the most damage done in this early game. SANDBOX had a bit of an advantage in.
Oh, the Birdman's coming back.
He's looking for more. Damn. Cute little ward down there from SANDBOX, though, as Summit is still being very aggressive. OnFleek will turn up, but Control Ward is going to give away his position. And yet, he may not actually be too worried about this one. Minions are going to be going down, but a fresh wave is going to turn up.
Peanut's bottom side, they know this. They're going for it.
Yep, they're looking for it. Worldender has been popped as Summit just holds on to the aggro, and that was too easy. CuVee did invest the flash, but without the cannon barrage, he wasn't outplaying that one.
Very much knowing Peanut's bot side means ease for SANDBOX to make this play is 100% information, so they know it can't be counter ganked. They know that they can just go and take the right aggro and get the kill, and it's just one of those high positive plays from SANDBOX, and unfortunately the answering play from Gen.G is nothing.
Yep. The percentage play from SANDBOX most definitely, and this is what Gen.G have ran into as issues, especially in spring season, was having people make proactive plays against them and then just not really doing anything as a response.
Well, what did League of Legends evolve into? Okay, you got something, but what are you going to take as a loss on the other side of the map? And it's always, oh, you got a kill, but what objective did you get? Getting one kill no longer was enough, but unfortunately Gen.G do end up giving things and trying to defend for future things. And if you just take all the turret plates and all the other objectives that now exist as a counterpoint, then often you get huge gold leads, which could just be the way for SANDBOX. They're jamming the Rift Herald, but do notice the timer. It is 16:25.
Yeah, so not going to be getting any plates with this one, but Shelly will get a charge off onto this outer turret. Could get some more pressure down here for SANDBOX.
Oh, if you take the mid lane out, it's so big for map control on that Baron play with the Mountain Infernal we talked about, Atlas.
Yep, not to mention the fact that Dove can augment this push very effectively. I mean, if another minion wave heads towards this turret, he's got Trinity Force. He can smack that one down very, very quickly. So that is a to be continued that SANDBOX have left there in the mid lane. Ghost setting up. OnFleek is here now to try and protect. And he's going to see whether they go for one of those plays yet again.
He's backing up his bot lane. Remember, in this similar spot, this is where Kuzan came through and flew through and got the double. So, yep, OnFleek just in counter gank territory. They have no deep wards and no idea on where Lee Sin is. Now, they probably know that all of Lee Sin's camps are down, so bot side play is very likely. SANDBOX just want to get what seems to be owed to them, which is another objective bot side to be the Mountain Drake and the bot lane outer turret. And then we're talking double Mountain Infernal and the Atlas color special, those Corky power spikes. First couple are in, the next one on the way.
Yep, this is a huge one in the Sork Boots Trinity Force. That's the big first one, but then it just keeps coming in thick and fast. Papa Smithy, get an Infinity Edge, get a Rapid Fire Cannon, all of it. Every completion is feeling good.
And in these games where Lee Sin is red, the answering play for him is so much harder than for Sejuani. Because if Lee Sin shows up second and someone's taking out most of their health bar, can't really do anything. The turret guys are a lot more situational based on flashes being up and down respectively. TP's coming in defensively here. SANDBOX definitely not giving up a Mountain Drake without a fight.
Yeah, it's Summit getting down here as quickly as he possibly can. He can World Ender to start this one off. This is a 3-0-0 Aatrox that just really wants to spread his power around. You can see they are throwing their weight into this one. Infernal Chains lands, but Shifting Sands is going to be there for Kuzan to get himself to safety. But Gen.G is split. Can the Pigeon Man swoop in and create magic here on the side of Gen.G as Dove is pressuring them by activating... Oh, sorry, it's going to be taking down a Sun turret, so not exactly going to be getting super high value. They already managed to take down that outer turret, but he's still pushing forward, and the Aatrox is actually there to help out.
They're on in a turret.
They're thinking about trying to have their cake and eating it too, but the Emperor's Divide does absolutely nothing. Cataclysm is there, but it's just going to create space. Peanut gets the kick, but the Devour timing was too good from Joker. They're still looking for the inner turret, and the Gangplank went back to try and deny. Mountain Drake's going to go back into the pit, and SANDBOX is just going to be able to start this one up again.
It's been some sweet science by SANDBOX, on point in so many different ways on the map and in the micro interactions. They get Kuzan, they get out, they push up mid lane. Suddenly, they've just had their lunch. You know, they've just absolutely eaten Gen.G's lunch, and all Ruler can do is push out of turret and bot lane and back off. So we watched the replay here, and it's very crisp from SANDBOX. The moment Gen.G realizes only 3, Kuzan looks, gets the bash, but I love the re-engage timing from OnFleek, and then you're watching for Peanut, goes for the kick flash and devoured out of the air. Now, that is a Tahm Kench you can get behind.
Yeah, that's some old man mechanics that I'm all about as well, Papa Smithy. This is called supporting your local mechanic, you know, the old guy that just knows your own
The
car
town
in
mechanic?
and out. Yep, yeah. That's what I'm all about. Definitely pay him another visit. Don't go to one of these new fandangle mechanics.
Let me tell you something about Joker. You might see the Tahm Kench think, okay, you know, he's fallen back in tank supports like other players' mechanics might have escaped them. An older player had some mechanical misfires in spring. I thought his pike was pretty good. I thought
yeah,
a lot of his
mechanical
plays have leveled up in summer, and we know he's a big reason that their shot calling is so strong. So at some point, he's just one of our best supports.
Yeah. Remember, he was the support that had like a 3-champion champ pool, right?
Yeah.
In the Galio, Shen, and Tahm Kench.
Yeah.
That was his spring, almost entirely, and now really has jumped out of that.
And what do all those 3 champions do? They allow you to use your superior knowledge of the game to be in the right position first.
Yes.
They can make plays happen, but realistically, he was much more known for his map play and the ability for the 1-3-1 with Doves, Akali, and a side lane big champion coming through from Summit to find advantages, but he's actually getting those more selfish picks rolling, so big compliments to Joker.
Enjoying it.
On Summit, 3 kills and also a healthy CS lead. He's having a bit of a buffet in the 1v1.
That was a high-value phosphorus bomb, everyone. As Dove is going to know that there are 3 members towards the top side, not going to check more. And cleans out the mini-wave very easily. That is a lot of GenG's resources now just doing nothing on this map.
Yeah, the control wards allow them red side control, but SANDBOX aren't threatening Baron just yet, so this means that Peanut and Life are running kind of unseen between top and bot, but they get there and it's like, well, what now? And again, very unlikely setups around a Corki with flash up. Best of luck catching him.
Yeah.
And Summit can just continue the 1v1 pain. Now, he can't really kill this turret without help, just because GP has a lot of wave clear at this point. A lot of happy feeding from Gen.G between the lanes. They're not gaining anything, but they're definitely racking up the miles. They're running around that big oval, but unfortunately they're not impacting the play.
Yeah, they're doing the laps, but it's not time for drills. We're actually in the main game. Maybe that's how it's sort of working. 4,000 gold is going to be what that spells in the advantage of SANDBOX, as Summit's going to extend that even further. About 5,000 heading into 22 minutes is a great news story if you're a SANDBOX fan, and look at their line of control wards. Just creating the breadcrumbs towards the Baron pit, which is exactly what they want to be fighting for. Gen.G do have that red side access to the pit with their cheeky little control ward over the back, but this Baron can go down extraordinarily quickly. SANDBOX have not only incredible champions for doing consistent damage, but also double Mountain Drake. This is like 2-man potential and then some, with almost any 2 champions, not including Tahm Kench, that they have.
And let's say they don't play the map ideally and it ends up being a 5v5. Look at the item disparity between 2 team-fighting top laners.
Oh no,
Aatrox has a boatload of items,
yeah.
and GP has the Sad Man's Trinity Force Executioner's Calling. Like, this Aatrox is primed for a pentakill.
Yeah. He is ready. And also, he's already got all of the kills for his team so far, or at least most of them. As Gen.G, they have no right just walking up to this river, even with a couple of members in the mid lane, because Joker can turn up in the nick of time with his Abyssal Voyage. He's still looking for rank 2 on that one. As, yeah, okay, someone's going to turn up.
Can't go in disconnected, remember. This is not fed old Aatrox where you just do it with your face and start everything off. He has to be a bit more situational.
That's the thing. That's why they're looking to try and force right now. As he saw, uses it to try and get himself back into this mid lane, and that's because it was running out. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there for SANDBOX, but Gen.G playing around the SANDBOX resources very nicely as OnFleek flags and drags, gets himself out of the way, but does at least lose half of his health bar.
Forcing down one lane right now. They're not using Aatrox in the bot side. It's relieved a bit of pressure from Gen.G. That gets them to be able to regroup. And it's frustrating. This is a turret siege around a temporary turret. That's the annoying thing Azir can do.
Yeah.
Allows you to cheat macro a little bit. Gen.G can walk up in a scenario they wouldn't be able to if there's any other champion on the Rift. But SANDBOX are feeling frisky.
Yeah, there's going to be the Chains of Corruption going down. Ruler does break them as we're going to get the flag and drag. OnFleek dives into the front line. They're trying to escape, but they're all clumped up. Perfect for Summit, but he's down very, very low. Another Emperor's Divide flashed from Joker, and he eats some Grey Health to try and keep him alive. The Sand Soldiers and Ruler are able to take down the Catfish, but that is going to be the 1-for-1, and they still have so much damage available. Low health bars on both sides. But I'd still say it's a relatively even trade, support for support.
Bit of a trip up in execution for the first time this game from SANDBOX, playing the mid lane ARAM play rather than
CuVee.
Oh boy.
Yep, Dove just gets the Valkyrie, gets in there. Ruler now has to be careful as well. You have to, respect this Corki from the mid lane. You've only got one spell shield. You're going to need about 7 in a very, very quick series of time.
And there's nothing toothless. There's no Corgi here. This is just Earth on a warpath in the mid lane before
he got all the spatulas in Teamfight Tactics Pub Smithy.
He absolutely did, and that makes him a pretty happy man. Dove walks up, steals an Infernal Drake. SANDBOX very lazy in how they played the map because the Sun turret was frustrating them. They needed that down to make the play where they grouped in mid lane and fell back to an Infernal. But they get the kill on the end. They get the Infernal as well, so they still get everything.
Yeah, can I talk about some item spikes here, though, Pub Smithy? Because there's a whole bunch of them. We've got the Guardian Angel now completed. An extra BF sword here for Dove on top of the first 2 items that he has done as well. This is a gigantic Corki. Not to mention, Ghost is doing a lot of AoE damage right now.
Can we please give some balanced analysis? Don't forget, Jorum's Fist picked up for GP, so he's rolling as well.
Oh, that's true. Sick Jorum's. No, he's still scaling. Still got to stack up that HP.
Give me that HP. Ooh. Give me that free Ruby Crystal.
Get into a side lane, CuVee. What are you doing? Ruler's not going to let you have any of this farm. You got to stack that Jorum's Fist.
At least Riot's trying to make this game spicy. And like, let's make it double, and triple Infernal games.
Yeah. And that's a pretty high roll for SANDBOX here as CuVee does break the chains. But it's feeling like that is the least of his worries at this stage. He's on the cusp of being Flame Horizon.
Does the lore establish who Jorum is or what Jorum is? Because at least Doran they kind of explain, but I don't really know who Jorum is.
Maybe he's like the budget items guy.
But he has a very notable fist, apparently.
Yeah, that's true. Like, you know how you've got like multiple different like supermarket brands like Target and Walmart and stuff like that? Maybe Jorum's like, he's the Walmart.
Which Aussie one would he be?
He'd be Coles. I'm a Woolworths man, you know?
You're so classy.
Yeah.
I was very surprised when I went overseas and Woolworths didn't actually have a supermarket part. It was actually just the outlet mall kind of thing.
Oh, really?
Not every country, but some countries.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought Woolworths was just an Aussie thing.
Not Target, you're saying.
Target. Very close. Yes, very close. That's where I do all of my shopping.
Well,
I make sure that I'm up
the Coles fist here is not what he wants. He needs more than that. He definitely needs at least the ability to not be all end on the turret.
I can't believe Ruler's still got his Woolworths blade. I'm so happy. You can see like Ghost sold his.
Oh boy. Sad. Well, Summit's got real items. He's been going. There's no thrift shopping going on there. He's
no.
Real
He's designer. He's designer only right here for this guy. He's going to land from Peanut. He's thinking about trying to go for some sort of play as Ghost is going to go wide on the Chains of Corruption. Doesn't matter though. As SANDBOX are able to just get the pressure in there. Speaking of pressure, CuVee has to leave as Peanut's still looking for more.
But Summit's really deep.
Yeah, he's actually looking to try and go in here as the flash comes down from Peanut. Will land that Q once again, but yeah, real deep is almost an understatement right now as they're just going to have to say goodbye to a lot of gold in that bounty, and Kuzan picks it all up.
There's a say your death moment. Summit got too greedy. Thought he was playing a 1v1, and given how this game had gone, you could understand it, but was too far gone. With no flash on the top side, Gen.G get 40 seconds of relatively serene normalcy, and yet, what can it realistically achieve? They're still very afraid of face-checking the Corki, face-checking even the Jarvan, so it doesn't even get them much Baron vision.
Well, in fact, SANDBOX still have 3 men around the area. They're going to be able to comfortably clear out vision. As Peanut might get knocked up here. Blade of the Rune King comes down. He's been slowed. We're looking for the piercing arrow, but it's not going to proc too much. Not enough blighted quiver stacks, and I don't think the W is available.
Pretty greedy. I mean, it's 5v4, so it feels weird to say greedy, but you definitely want your Braum backing you up when you go to war. We're going to watch the replay of how CuVee took a uncomfortable amount of damage. That was just a full rotation, almost straight up killing him.
Yep, infernally chained. It feels real bad.
But at that point, the problem they have is that Ghost is out of Chain of Corruption range, so the moment that Peanut walks over, there's no chance that Summit can live.
And the direction that Summit went as well. I mean, he was committed into trying some sort of re-engage, but just wasn't going to happen there. Not sure what would have happened, but benefit of hindsight is, of course, there, and now SANDBOX are able to reset, and they still have a 6,000 gold lead. No harm, no foul.
And you know what's another no harm, no foul thing?
What's that?
Sometimes when we talk up brands or play down brands, I'm always like, no, hold on. Like, they might sponsor us. We've got no worries about Coles coming to Korea, so we're serene here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping I could pop down to me local Coles.
I'm just saying you can badmouth them and not worry about them sponsoring us.
Right, but what if we do an event in Australia?
I hope it's not
Sorry,
sponsored.
we can't have that Atlas guy.
I got it in my contract, no calls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, you're going to get all those pre-prepared Woolworths lunches. The dream. Speaking of the dream, another chance of corruption comes down, but Peanut is going to go into stasis. They're going to try and focus him as Ghost grabs Zackle. Ruler is put into the baby cage, but escapes with his flash. And now Gen.G have grouped. They're looking for the fight, but Cannon Barrage is going to deny anything, and SANDBOX are just going to disengage. It's top laner traded for the jungler.
And 1-for-1s are actually fine for Gen.G. They're on the red side. They can defend Baron really easily. The only thing that works against them is Infernal being up. Life putting up the door, trying to hold the line here for Gen.G. They don't want to give away any free Infernal access, but right now it seems like they're choosing between two bad options.
Yep, Dove now. He was looking to just get some control around the area, but the Infernal Drake is now going to get started. OnFleek is already in this Dragon Pit. And as you can see, SANDBOX is trying to defend this one. This will be another 3 Infernals. Good lord. That's just 5 Drakes that are all great. Probably the perfect array of dragons that you can get. And then an Infernal.
I'm gonna watch the replay here. The kick from Peanut actually ended up being super high value because on the top side it keeps Corki out of the kind of AoE wombo fest in the mid. And even though Jarvan and Aatrox are way stronger than the reverse champions on the side of Gen.G, with Corki not there, health bar advantage through the Braum just being able to block damage is very straightforward for them. So it does mean the game rolls on to once again post 30 minutes with it not being fully decided. 5,000 gold lead to SANDBOX. The 3 Infernals means a way bigger lead for SANDBOX because of the efficiency of those items, and yet Sivir starts adding extra BF sword items. A Banshee Veil is done. There's still a perfect fight if Kuzan can initiate.
Oh, absolutely. And you can never count out Ruler in the late game as he does use the On the Hunt. They're in trouble, though, as SANDBOX may have found their fight. Chains of Corruption once again is going to land as the Braum is just picked off and destroyed. Gen.G, blink and you'll miss it in a lot of these fights. They just lose members so fast.
Frontline difference there. Jarvan able to tank it out. Peanut looking to stop the back, and OnFleek will have to be a little bit more honest about his push. Yeah. Life goes down. He's going to be out of the fight for a long time. No Unsealed Spellbook, Teleport, or Abyssal Voyages for this Braum. SANDBOX, it's on the menu. Start up this Baron. Here we go.
Yep, double Mountain Drake, triple Infernal. SANDBOX just want to continue fighting. And it's a 4 versus 5. Gen.G, desperation mode right here as OnFleek's going to be able to help take it down. It's in fact the Varus that locks it up as Ruler. He's on vision. CuVee also, though. Steric's Gauge is going to be in there. But, damn, even the Coles item upgrades aren't enough.
Honestly, Gen.G's defense was a very practiced 4v5, try to stop Baron, but it doesn't work against 3 Infernals and 2 Mountains way faster than they're ready for. I'm going to watch the replay, and this time the Corki is fighting around the area that the Cataclysm set up in the middle of the fight. Someone had to die, ended up being Life. And then the Baron speed meant that Gen.G's defense on paper was good, but ended up being too late because triple Infernal, double Mountain, goodbye to the Purple Worm.
Well, we're going to have a look at some of these AD numbers as well. I mean, almost 500 for Summit, who's just going to chase after Kuzan. We've already had the Abyssal Voyage into the backline. This is over. Dove dead before his Sand Soldiers even came out from the grave. They're trying to sweep the floor, but there's no trash here anymore, Papa Smithy. This is some really strong members of SANDBOX augmented by so many dragons.
Even though Gen.G did their chores, they're not going to get to play Nintendo today. They're done. It feels like SANDBOX Gaming should close at 2-0 on this push.
Yeah, it's unfortunate after game number 1 was so back and forth. This one felt like it has been concluded for a little while. A much better performance as OnFleek dives on top of the backline once again. The team fights are still good as they were trying desperately to find anything, but Life, he's going to go down as well. Summit has been the tail of this game. The Aatrox getting too big too early. The Nexus will follow suit from game 1. And another triple Infernal, another win for SANDBOX.
SANDBOX Gaming in